Captain Alex Carter stood in the massive chamber of the Galactic Council, feeling very small among the giant alien beings that surrounded him. The room was bigger than any stadium on Earth, with floating platforms that held representatives from dozens of different worlds. Some aliens looked like giant lizards, others were made of pure energy, and a few seemed to be living rocks. All of them were staring at him with what he could only describe as amusement. Commander Lisa Brooks waited outside in their small shuttle, monitoring the meeting through the communication device in Alex's ear. She had warned him that this might not go well, but nothing could have prepared him for what he was seeing now. The aliens were not just dismissing humanity's request to join their council. They were laughing at them. Admiral Zethkar of the Vorthik Empire was the first to speak. He was a massive reptilian creature with scales that seemed to shift colors as he moved. His voice boomed through the chamber like thunder. "So the little humans want to join us," he said, his words dripping with mockery. "Tell me, Tiny One, what exactly do you bring to our great alliance? Your ships are made of metal and powered by explosions. Your weapons shoot little pieces of metal. We have seen your entire fleet, and I must say, we are not impressed." The other council members began to laugh, a sound that filled the enormous chamber like a storm. High Chancellor Miratel of the Zenthari Collective floated forward on her platform. She looked like a being made of pure light, beautiful but cold. "Admiral Zethkar is being kind," she said, her voice like music but with sharp edges. "I have studied human technology extensively. Your fastest ships take months to travel between planets. Ours can cross the galaxy in days. Your most powerful weapons can barely scratch our shields. Your computers are so primitive that our children's toys are more advanced." Alex kept his face calm, but inside he was taking careful notes. He watched as the aliens displayed holographic images of human ships on the giant screens around the chamber. They showed Earth's carriers, destroyers, and battleships, all looking very small and simple compared to the sleek alien vessels that appeared next to them. "Look at this," said Commander Voxtal of the Silicon Confederation, his rock-like body grinding as he gestured toward the displays. "They still use chemical fuel to power their ships. Chemical fuel. We stopped using such things 1,000 years ago. And their weapons, they actually fire physical projectiles. It is like watching cavemen try to fight with sticks and stones." More laughter filled the chamber. Alex noticed that not all the aliens were laughing, though. A few seemed to be studying the human ships with more interest, but they stayed quiet. The Zenthari Chancellor continued her examination of human technology. "Their communication systems are laughably slow. They use radio waves that take years to travel between stars. Their shields are nothing more than thick metal armor. Their most advanced computers are less powerful than the devices we use to control our food preparation systems." Admiral Zethkar stepped forward, his massive form casting a shadow over Alex's platform. "But perhaps," he said with a grin that showed rows of sharp teeth, "they could be useful in other ways. The Vorthik Empire is always looking for new workers. Humans seem strong enough for manual labor, and they breed quickly. Yes, I think they would make excellent slaves." The chamber erupted in more laughter. Alex felt his jaw tighten, but he forced himself to remain still. In his ear, he could hear Lisa's voice whispering updates from their shuttle. "Alex, I'm picking up some interesting chatter on their military frequencies. The Vorthik have a large fleet massing near our border. This might not be just about council membership." High Chancellor Miratel raised a hand, and the laughter slowly died down. "Of course, we cannot simply ignore the humans completely," she said. "They have shown remarkable determination in reaching this far into space with such primitive technology. Perhaps in a few hundred years, when they have learned to build proper ships and develop real weapons, they might be worthy of our attention again." Alex finally spoke, his voice steady and clear. "Honored council members, I understand your concerns about our technology. We know we have much to learn from the great civilizations represented here. All we ask is for the chance to prove that humanity can contribute to galactic peace and prosperity." Admiral Zethkar's laughter boomed through the chamber again. "Peace and prosperity? Little human, you do not understand how the galaxy works. The strong rule and the weak serve. Your species is weak. Your technology is weak. Your entire civilization is weak. There is no place for weakness in our council." The other aliens nodded in agreement. Alex could see that his mission was failing, but he continued to observe everything around him. He noticed the weapon systems on the alien ships in the displays, the way their energy shields worked, and the patterns of their fleet formations. Every detail went into his memory for later analysis. Commander Miratel began to float back to her position. "The Galactic Council has reached its decision," she announced. "Humanity's request for membership is denied. Your species lacks the technological development, military strength, and cultural sophistication required for full membership. We suggest you return to your small corner of the galaxy and perhaps try again in a few centuries." Admiral Zethkar added his own final comment. "And humans should be very careful about venturing too far from their home worlds. The galaxy can be a dangerous place for such a weak species. There are many civilizations that would see you as nothing more than resources to be harvested." The threat was clear, and Alex felt a chill run down his spine. But he bowed respectfully to the council, thanking them for their time and consideration. As he turned to leave, he could hear the aliens already talking among themselves, making jokes about human ships and discussing whether humans would be better as slaves or simply eliminated entirely. As Alex walked back to his shuttle, Lisa's voice came through his communicator again. "Alex, those Vorthic ships I mentioned are definitely moving toward our space. Long-range sensors show at least 500 vessels. They're not even trying to hide their approach." Alex reached his shuttle and sealed the door behind him. As they prepared to leave the station, he looked back at the massive alien council chamber one last time. The aliens thought they knew everything about humanity. They thought humans were weak and primitive. They had no idea how wrong they were. "Lisa," Alex said as their shuttle headed back toward human space, "send a message to Earth Command. Tell them the Council rejected our application, and tell them the Vorthic are coming. It's time to activate Shadowfall." Lisa nodded and began transmitting the coded message. As their small shuttle disappeared into the darkness of space, neither of them looked back at the alien station, where beings from across the galaxy continued to laugh about the primitive humans and their pathetic technology. General Ryan Hayes sat in the underground command center beneath Colorado Springs, staring at the holographic display that showed Captain Carter's shuttle approaching Earth. The message from the Galactic Council had arrived 3 hours ago, and Ryan had been preparing for this moment ever since. The rejection was expected, but the Vorthic threat was something they had hoped to avoid for at least another few years. Dr. Karen Foster entered the command center, her security badge glowing, with the highest clearance level possible. Behind her walked Lieutenant Jake Morrison, the best communications officer in the human fleet. Ryan had called them both here for a reason that very few people on Earth would ever know about. "General," Karen said as she approached the main table, "I received your emergency summons. I assume this is about Project Shadowfall?" Ryan nodded grimly. "The aliens rejected our council application, just as we expected. But Admiral Zethkar and his Vorthic Empire are making their move earlier than our intelligence predicted. We have maybe 72 hours before their invasion fleet reaches our outer colonies." Jake looked confused. "Sir, with respect, our defense. Fleets are already in position around the outer colonies. The Memphis, the Denver, and the Atlanta battle groups should be able to hold them off until reinforcements arrive. Dr. Foster smiled sadly. Lieutenant, those ships you're talking about are not our real defense fleet. They're decoys. Very expensive, very convincing decoys, but decoys nonetheless. The young officer's eyes widened. Ma'am, I don't understand. Those are real ships with real crews. I've served on the Memphis myself. General Hayes activated a new section of the holographic display. Jake, what you served on was indeed a real ship with a real crew, but it was never meant to fight a real war against advanced alien technology. For the past 50 years, every ship the galaxy has seen from humanity has been designed to look primitive and weak. We wanted the aliens to underestimate us. Dr. Foster stepped forward and began explaining what very few humans knew. When we first detected alien signals 60 years ago, our leaders made a critical decision. Instead of announcing our presence and trying to join galactic civilization immediately, we decided to watch and learn. We sent out hidden probes that studied alien technology for decades. We learned how their weapons worked, how their shields functioned, and most importantly, how they thought about warfare. The display changed to show technical diagrams of alien ships, alongside human designs that looked nothing like the vessels Jake knew. Every piece of alien technology we observed, we improved upon. Their plasma weapons led us to develop gravity cannons. Their energy shields inspired us to create adaptive armor. Their faster-than-light drives helped us build quantum tunnel generators. Jake stared at the diagrams in shock. But the ships I've seen, the ones defending our colonies, they look like upgraded versions of 21st century vessels. Because that's exactly what they are, Ryan explained. We built them specifically to fool alien observers. The nuclear reactors are real, but they're not the primary power source. The missile systems work, but they're not our main weapons. Every human ship the aliens have ever detected has hidden systems they cannot see or understand. Dr. Foster brought up another display showing construction facilities in the outer solar system. While we were showing the galaxy our primitive ships, we were building our real fleet in complete secrecy. 12 massive vessels that make alien dreadnoughts look like children's toys. Ships that can become completely invisible to any known sensor system. Ships powered by contained black holes and armed with weapons that can manipulate matter at the atomic level. The command center's main screen lit up with incoming reports from the outer colonies. Lieutenant Morrison began reading the updates. Aloud, General Vorthic forces have crossed into our territory. Colony ships from 3 different systems are reporting attacks. The aliens are broadcasting their assault across the galaxy like it's entertainment. Ryan watched the tactical display as red markers showed Vorthic ships overwhelming human defenses. The Memphis battle group was already retreating from the Proxima system, and the Denver group was taking heavy damage near Wolf 359. To any observer, it looked like humanity was being crushed by superior alien technology. Sir, Jake said, watching, the retreat orders being transmitted. Shouldn't we be sending reinforcements? Those are real people dying out there. Dr. Foster shook her head. The crews on those ships know their mission, Lieutenant. Every retreat is planned. Every defeat is calculated. We're drawing the Vorthic fleet deeper into our space, away from their escape routes and into the perfect position for our real ships to engage them. On the main display, they could see alien news feeds celebrating the easy victory over humanity. Representatives from dozens of species were making statements about how they had known humans were too weak to survive in the galaxy. The Zenthari. Chancellor appeared on one feed, expressing mock sympathy for the inevitable extinction of the human species. Admiral Krexter, commander of the Vorthic invasion fleet, was broadcasting his own messages. Humans, his translated voice boomed across every communication channel. Your primitive weapons cannot harm our ships. Your weak shields cannot protect you. Surrender now, and some of you may live to serve the Vorthic Empire. Continue to resist, and we will turn your worlds to ash." Jake listened to the alien commander's threats with growing anger. "General, with respect, how can we just sit here and listen to this? Even if our real ships are more advanced, shouldn't we be helping those people?" Ryan placed a hand on the young officer's shoulder. "Son, every person serving on those decoy ships volunteered for this mission, knowing exactly what it meant. They're not just buying us time. They're selling the greatest deception in human history. The aliens think they're watching humanity's final defeat. They have no idea they're walking into the most sophisticated trap ever constructed." Dr. Foster pulled up another display, showing the positions of the hidden human fleet. Admiral Sam Mitchell and his 12 ships are already in position. They've been watching this invasion from the beginning, completely invisible to Vorthic sensors. Every movement the aliens make is being tracked and analyzed. The tactical display showed the Vorthic fleet's progress through human space. They were following exactly the path the human strategists had predicted, drawn forward by what appeared to be weak resistance and the promise of an easy conquest. The alien ships moved in standard formations, their commanders confident that no human weapon could threaten them. "The beauty of our plan," Ryan explained, "is that the aliens' arrogance is working against them. They're so convinced of their superiority that they're not even scanning for threats. They see our decoy ships retreating and assume they've won. They have no idea that ships far more advanced than anything in their empire are already surrounding them." Lieutenant Morrison was monitoring alien communications from across the galaxy. "Sir, the other species are placing bets on how long humanity will last. The Zenthari are giving us less than a week. Some species are already discussing how to divide up our territory after the Vorthic finish with us." Dr. Foster smiled coldly. "Let them make their plans. In 72 hours, when Admiral Mitchell's fleet reveals itself, every species in the galaxy is going to learn a very important lesson about underestimating humanity." The command center fell quiet as they watched the displays showing humanity's apparent defeat. Vorthic ships were destroying human colonies, while their commanders celebrated what they believed was an easy victory. Across the galaxy, alien species were already writing humanity's obituary. But in the hidden facilities scattered throughout the solar system, Admiral Mitchell and his crews were making final preparations for the moment when humanity would reveal its true strength. The greatest military deception in galactic history was about to reach its climax, and the aliens who had laughed at human weakness were about to discover just how wrong they had been. Admiral Sam Mitchell stood on the bridge of the USS Phantom, watching the Vorthic invasion fleet tear through human defenses on his tactical display. Around him, his crew worked in complete silence, their movements precise and practiced. The ship itself made no sound as it moved through space, its revolutionary hull design absorbing every form of energy that touched it. Captain Nicole Warren, commander of the stealth destroyer USS Wraith, appeared on the main communication screen. "Admiral, the alien fleet has taken the bait. They're following our projected course exactly. All 12 of our ships are in position and ready to engage." Sam nodded, his weathered face showing no emotion. He had been preparing for this moment for 30 years, ever since he had been selected to command humanity's secret fleet. The ships under his command represented technology so advanced that even he sometimes had trouble believing what they were capable of. Chief Engineer Paul Rivers approached from the engine section, his hands still covered in the strange fluid that the ship's systems used for maintenance. "Admiral, all systems are showing green. The singularity containment is stable, and the metamaterial hull is operating at maximum efficiency. We could stay invisible to their sensors for months if necessary." The USS Phantom was massive, 3 times the length of the largest Vorthok dreadnought, but it registered as nothing more than empty space on every sensor system the aliens possessed. Its hull was made of programmable matter that could reshape itself in response to any threat. The ship's power came from a carefully contained black hole that provided more energy than entire alien fleets could generate. "Paul," Sam said, "show me the weapon status." The engineer activated a holographic display that showed the ship's armament. Unlike the crude missiles and kinetic weapons on humanity's decoy ships, the Phantom carried weapons that seemed like magic even to its own crew. Gravity cannons that could compress matter down to the size of marbles. Temporal disruptors that could slow enemy ships to a crawl. Quantum torpedoes that could phase through any known shield technology. Dr. Foster's voice came through the communication system from Earth. "Admiral Mitchell, this is command. The Vorthok fleet is now 48 hours from Earth. Are your ships ready to execute Operation Revelation?" Sam looked around his bridge at the crew members who had trained in secret for decades. These men and women had volunteered to spend their entire careers hidden from the rest of humanity, knowing that their existence could never be acknowledged until the moment came to save their species. "Dr. Foster, we have been ready for 30 years. Captain Warren's image reappeared on the screen. "Admiral, I'm receiving reports from our other ships. The USS Shadow reports that the Vorthok are not even scanning for cloaked vessels. The USS Ghost has been flying alongside their flagship for 6 hours, and they haven't detected anything. Their arrogance is incredible." Sam smiled grimly. "Nicole, remember that their arrogance is exactly what we've been counting on. Every alien species in the galaxy believes that human technology is primitive. They see our decoy ships retreating and think they understand everything about our capabilities. They have no idea that we've been studying their technology for decades and building something far beyond anything they can imagine." Paul Rivers pulled up another display showing the technical specifications of human stealth technology. "Admiral, our metamaterial cloaking doesn't just make us invisible to sensors. It actually bends space around our ships. To their instruments, we literally do not exist. We could fire our engines at full power right next to their flagship, and they would detect nothing." The Phantom science officer, Lieutenant Commander Beth Clark, approached with her latest analysis of the alien fleet. "Sir, I've been studying their formations and tactics. They're using standard Vorthok battle doctrine from their military manuals. No adaptations, no innovations. They're so confident in their superiority that they're not even trying to be creative." Sam studied the data Beth had compiled. The Vorthok ships moved in predictable patterns, their commanders following strategies that human intelligence had been studying for decades. Every weakness in their formation had been identified and cataloged. When the time came to engage, Admiral Mitchell's fleet would know exactly where to strike for maximum effect. "Beth, what's your assessment of their technology compared to ours?" Science officer consulted her datapad. "Sir, their plasma weapons are impressive by galactic standards, but our adaptive shields can redistribute plasma energy indefinitely. Their faster-than-light drives are fast, but our quantum tunnel generators are instantaneous. Most importantly, their computers and sensors are generations behind ours. They're fighting with the equivalent of stone tools." Captain Warren interrupted. From the USS Wraith, "Admiral, we're receiving intelligence from our infiltration probes. The alien fleet commanders are already planning victory celebrations. Admiral Krexther has ordered special chambers prepared on his flagship to hold human prisoners. They're discussing which colonies to keep as slave camps and which planets to strip mine for resources." Sam felt a cold anger building in his chest. The aliens didn't just want to defeat humanity. They wanted to destroy everything humans had built and turn the survivors into property. "Nicole, make sure all ships receive that intelligence." I want every member of our crews to understand exactly what we're preventing. Dr. Foster's voice came through the communicator again. Admiral, the galactic news networks are already broadcasting victory announcements. Species across the galaxy are celebrating what they believe is humanity's final defeat. Some are already sending congratulations to the Vorthic Empire for eliminating the human problem. Paul Rivers looked up from his engineering station. Admiral, it occurs to me that we're about to give the galaxy the greatest shock in its recorded history. These aliens have spent centuries believing they understand the limits of technology and warfare. When we reveal ourselves, we're going to shatter every assumption they've ever made. Sam walked to the main viewing screen and stared out at the stars where the Vorthic fleet was advancing toward Earth. Somewhere out there, alien commanders were laughing about human weakness while planning the enslavement of his species. They had no idea that 12 ships more advanced than anything in their wildest dreams were already surrounding them. Paul, begin charging all weapon systems. Beth, prepare the sensor masking systems for shutdown. Nicole, signal all ships to prepare for revelation protocol. In exactly 24 hours, we're going to show the galaxy what humanity is really capable of. The USS Phantom's crew began their final preparations with quiet efficiency. Around them, 11 other stealth ships were making identical preparations. The greatest military secret in human history was about to be revealed, and the aliens who had mocked humanity as primitive were about to learn that they had been deceived by masters of deception. Chief Engineer Rivers made one final check of the ship's systems. Admiral, everything is ready. The aliens are about to discover that the species they thought was weak and primitive has been quietly building the most advanced military force in galactic history. Sam Mitchell nodded, his eyes still fixed on the stars ahead. Tomorrow, the laughter would stop. Captain Tony Garcia stood on the bridge of the USS Denver, watching the massive Vorthic fleet approach Earth's outer defense perimeter. His ship and the rest of the human decoy fleet had been retreating for 3 days, drawing the alien invaders deeper into the solar system. Around him, his crew prepared for what every being in the galaxy believed would be humanity's final battle. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez sat at her sensor station, monitoring the space around them with equipment that was far more sophisticated than the aliens realized. Captain, I'm detecting gravitational anomalies throughout the system. The Shadow Fleet is moving into position. Tony nodded, maintaining his outward appearance of desperate determination, while inside feeling a calm confidence that the aliens could never understand. His ship was real, his crew was real, but their mission had always been to provide the perfect cover for humanity's true strength. Admiral, Krexther's massive flagship dominated the center of the Vorthak formation, its hull bristling with plasma cannons and energy weapons. The alien commander opened a communication channel that broadcast across the entire system and beyond, reaching every corner of galactic civilization. Humans, Krexther's voice boomed through space, translated into dozens of languages for the entertainment of alien audiences. You have fought bravely with your primitive weapons, but your defeat was inevitable from the moment you dared to resist the Vorthic Empire. I offer you one final chance to surrender. Submit to our rule, and some of you may live to serve us. Continue this pointless resistance, and we will reduce your homeworld to burning ash. Across the galaxy, alien species watched the broadcast with fascination. In the Xanthari Council chambers, High Chancellor Miratel observed the proceedings with cold satisfaction. The humans exceeded my expectations by lasting this long, she commented to her advisors. Perhaps they will provide more entertainment value as slaves than I originally calculated. On the bridge of the USS Denver, Tony Garcia activated his own communication system. Admiral Krexther, this is Captain Garcia of the Terran Defense Force. We reject your demands. Humanity will never surrender to an invasion force, no matter how advanced your technology might be. Krexther's laughter echoed through space. Captain Garcia, your courage is admirable but foolish. Look around you. Your fleet consists of metal boxes powered by chemical explosions. My ships harness the power of stars themselves. Your weapons cannot even scratch our shields. This is not a battle. This is an execution. Lieutenant Rodriguez suddenly stiffened at her station. Captain, I'm reading massive space-time distortions forming around the Vorthic fleet. Something very large is about to decloak. Tony smiled, though he kept his expression hidden from the alien sensors that were undoubtedly watching him. Admiral Krexther, you're absolutely right about one thing. This is not a battle. But you're wrong about who is about to be executed. The space around the Vorthic fleet began to ripple and bend, as if reality itself was being twisted by invisible forces. Admiral Krexther's tactical officers reported strange readings on their instruments, but their primitive sensors could not identify the source of the disturbances. What are these readings? Krexther demanded. Human ships cannot generate gravitational fields of this magnitude. Amy Rodriguez watched her displays with growing excitement. Captain, 12 massive objects are beginning to materialize. The Shadow Fleet is decloaking. The first human stealth ship appeared like a ghost materializing from empty space. The USS Phantom slowly became visible, its hull shimmering with energy that seemed to bend light around it. The alien crews stared, in shock as the massive vessel revealed itself directly above their flagship, dwarfing even the largest Vorthic dreadnought. Impossible, Krexther whispered, his confidence evaporating as he stared at the enormous human ship that had somehow appeared from nowhere. The USS Wraith decloaked off the port side of the alien formation, followed by the USS Shadow on the starboard flank. One by one, 12 massive human vessels revealed themselves, each one positioned perfectly to trap the Vorthic fleet in an inescapable formation. The ships that appeared bore no resemblance to the primitive human vessels the aliens had been fighting. These were sleek, advanced warships that seemed to operate by principles of technology the aliens had never imagined. Admiral Sam Mitchell's voice cut through every communication channel in the system, reaching not just the Vorthic fleet, but every alien civilization monitoring the battle. This is Admiral Sam Mitchell of the Terran Defense Force. You are surrounded by the 12th Fleet of the Human Shadow Navy. Your invasion fleet is completely trapped, and your technology is no match for ours. You have 10 seconds to surrender. All weapons and prepare to be boarded. The galactic audience watching the broadcast fell into stunned silence. Species that had been celebrating humanity's defeat moments earlier now stared at their screens in disbelief. The primitive humans they had mocked possessed ships that made their own technology look like ancient relics. High Chancellor Miratel stood frozen in her console chamber, her energy-based form flickering with shock. This is impossible, she said to no one in particular. Human technology cannot be this advanced. We have monitored their development for decades. Admiral Krexther recovered his voice and activated his weapon systems. All ships, open fire, destroy these human vessels. The Vorthic fleet unleashed everything they had. Hundreds of plasma cannons fired simultaneously, creating a light show that could be seen from several star systems away. Energy beams that could melt through solid rock struck the human ships with devastating force. The plasma weapons simply disappeared as they hit the human vessels, absorbed by hull materials that adapted instantly to every form of attack. The USS Phantom didn't even slow down as dozens of the most powerful weapons in the Vorthic arsenal struck its adaptive armor. Our weapons are having no effect, reported Krexther's tactical officer. The human ships are absorbing every form of energy we're directing at them. Admiral Mitchell's voice returned, calm and measured. Admiral Krexther, That was your free demonstration. Now let me show you what human weapons can do. The USS Phantom's main gravity cannon powered up, creating a visible distortion in space itself. The weapon fired once, and the massive Vorthik battlecruiser Iron Fang simply collapsed in on itself, its hull compressed into a sphere the size of a basketball. The crew vanished in a flash of light as the ship's emergency teleportation systems beamed them to holding cells aboard the human vessels. The alien fleet stopped firing, their crews staring in horror at what remained of one of their most powerful warships. The technology they had just witnessed was beyond anything in their understanding of physics. "Surrender now," Admiral Mitchell commanded, "or I will demonstrate our full capabilities on your flagship." Admiral Krexther looked around at his fleet, trapped and helpless against technology that seemed like magic. His ships that had seemed so powerful when destroying human colonies now looked like toys compared to the massive human vessels surrounding them. "All ships," Krexther said quietly, "stand down weapons and prepare to surrender." Across the galaxy, alien species watched in shock as the most powerful invasion fleet in Vorthik history surrendered without firing another shot. The humans they had dismissed as primitive had revealed technology that surpassed every advanced civilization in known space. Captain Garcia smiled as he watched the alien ships powering down their weapons. "Admiral Mitchell, this is Captain Garcia. Mission accomplished. The galaxy just learned that humanity is not the weak species they thought we were." Amy Rodriguez looked up from her sensor station, her eyes bright with pride. "Captain, I'm receiving surrender signals from the entire Vorthik fleet. And sir, communication requests are flooding in from every major alien civilization. I think they want to talk." Tony nodded, watching as human ships that had been hiding in plain sight for decades finally revealed themselves to a galaxy that would never underestimate humanity again. President Diana Cole stood in the Oval Office, watching the live broadcast from the solar system's edge where Admiral Mitchell's fleet had just captured the entire Vorthik invasion force. Around her, the most senior leaders of Earth's government were struggling to process what they were seeing. The aliens who had dismissed humanity as primitive are now begging to speak with human representatives. Ambassador Rick Johnson, humanity's new diplomatic envoy, entered the room carrying a datapad filled with communication requests from alien civilizations across the galaxy. "Madam President, we're receiving surrender offers from 17 different species that were allied with the Vorthik Empire. The Zenthari Collective has requested an immediate emergency meeting. Even the Silicon Confederation, which barely acknowledged our existence yesterday, is asking for trade negotiations." Diana nodded, her expression calm despite the magnitude of what was happening. "Rick, before we respond to any of these requests, I want you to address the Galactic Council directly. Make it clear that humanity is not interested in joining their organization. We're offering them something better." On the main display, Admiral Mitchell's voice could be heard giving orders to his fleet as they processed thousands of alien prisoners. The Vorthik crews were being held in comfortable detention facilities aboard the human ships, while their vessels were being systematically studied and cataloged. Commander Lisa Stone, first officer of the USS Phantom, appeared on the communication screen. "Madam President, Admiral Mitchell requests permission to begin Phase 2 of the Revelation Protocol. We have alien news networks requesting interviews, and several species are asking for technological demonstrations." Diana smiled. "Tell the Admiral to proceed. It's time for the galaxy to understand the full scope of what they're dealing with." The President activated the global broadcast system, addressing not just humanity, but every alien civilization monitoring human communications. "People of Earth and beings of the galaxy, today marks the beginning of a new era. For decades, our species chose to appear weak while building strength. We allowed others to underestimate us, while we learned from their technology and surpassed it. The time for deception is over. Ambassador Johnson began transmitting humanity's new position to the galactic community. Instead of requesting membership in existing organizations, humans were offering protection services to any species willing to abandon aggressive expansion and respect the rights of other civilizations. High Chancellor Miratel of the Zentari Collective was among the first to respond. Her energy-based form flickered nervously as she addressed the human ambassador. Ambassador Johnson, the Zentari Collective wishes to formally apologize for our previous dismissal of human capabilities. We request immediate negotiations for a mutual defense agreement. Rick Johnson's response was measured and professional. Chancellor Miratel, humanity appreciates your interest in diplomatic relations. However, any agreement with the Zentari Collective will require your government to cease all territorial expansion activities and to provide reparations to species or empire has conquered in the past 50 years. The Chancellor's form brightened. With surprise, Ambassador, surely you cannot expect us to simply abandon our legitimate territorial claims. I can, and I do, Rick replied calmly. The galaxy has operated under the principle that might makes right for too long. Humanity possesses the technology to enforce a new standard of galactic behavior. Species that wish our protection must demonstrate that they deserve it. Admiral Mitchell's fleet began the next phase of their demonstration. Human ships moved through the solar system with impossible grace, their quantum tunnel drives allowing them to appear instantly at any location they chose. The alien observers watching could barely track their movements. Commander Stone coordinated the technological displays from her position aboard the Phantom. All ships begin demonstration sequence Alpha. Show them what our medical technology can do. The human fleet transmitted data about their medical advances to every major alien civilization. Technologies that could regrow lost limbs, cure diseases at the genetic level, and extend lifespans far beyond what any alien species had achieved. The information sent shockwaves through galactic scientific communities. Dr. Foster's voice came through the communication system from Earth. President Cole were receiving requests for medical assistance from 43 different worlds. Apparently, several species have diseases and genetic disorders that our technology can cure easily. Diana considered the requests carefully. Begin providing medical aid immediately, but make it clear that our assistance comes with expectations. Any species that receives human medical technology must agree to our behavioral standards. The demonstration continued with displays of human agricultural technology, farming techniques that could turn desert worlds into gardens, food production systems that could feed billions without environmental damage, and terraforming capabilities that could make dead planets habitable within decades. Captain Alex Carter recently returned from his humiliating appearance before the Galactic Council, now found himself addressing the same aliens who had mocked him days earlier. Honored representatives, when I appeared before your council, you dismissed humanity as too primitive to join your organization. Today, I'm here to offer you the chance to join ours. Admiral Zethkar of the Vorthik Empire, now a prisoner aboard. A human vessel, but allowed to communicate, spoke with a voice filled with disbelief. Captain Carter, how did your species advance so far beyond our detection? Our intelligence networks monitor every civilization in the galaxy. Alex smiled. Admiral, you monitored what we wanted you to monitor, while you were watching our decoy ships and laughing at our primitive technology. Our real scientists were developing systems that your intelligence networks couldn't even detect. We've been studying alien technology for 60 years, and we've improved upon everything we've learned. The galactic response was immediate and overwhelming. Species that had ignored humanity for decades were now offering technological exchanges, military alliances, and economic partnerships. The tables had completely turned. with alien civilizations desperate to gain favor with the humans they had previously dismissed. President Cole addressed the galaxy one final time. To all alien civilizations monitoring this broadcast, humanity extends an offer of partnership based on mutual respect and peaceful coexistence. We will share our medical technology, our agricultural advances, and our defensive capabilities with any species willing to renounce conquest and aggression. Those who choose to continue the old ways of galactic expansion through force will find themselves facing the combined opposition of humanity and our allies. Commander Stone reported from the fleet. Madam President, I'm receiving formal surrender. Documents from the Vorthic Empire, along with agreements to pay reparations to every species they've attacked in the past century. The Xanthari Collective has agreed to release all conquered territories and provide compensation to displaced populations. 17 other species have signed preliminary agreements to join our protection network. Ambassador Johnson reviewed the flood of diplomatic communications. President Cole, it appears that our revelation has fundamentally changed galactic politics. Species that have been enemies for centuries are now working together to meet our behavioral standards. The threat of facing human military technology has made them more willing to resolve conflicts peacefully. Diana nodded with satisfaction. That was always the plan, Rick. Sometimes the best way to achieve peace is to make war too costly for anyone to consider. The broadcast concluded with footage of human ships patrolling the galaxy, their advanced technology ensuring that aggressive species would think twice before attacking their neighbors. The aliens who had once laughed at humanity now slept safely under the protection of the species they had underestimated in schools across the galaxy. Alien children would learn about the great revelation and how humanity had taught the universe that true strength came not from superior weapons or advanced technology, but from the wisdom to appear weak while building the power to protect others. The laughing had stopped, and a new era of galactic peace had begun under the watchful eyes of the humans who had hidden their strength until the moment it was needed most.